everyone please limit your questions to the topic that we will discuss this morning. Thank you. Chief Pickett.
Thanks, Sarge. Good morning, everyone. Michael Pickett, I serve as interim police chief for the Birmingham Police Department. And as she stated today, I just simply want to give an update, as promised, on the 7-point crime plan. I mentioned something the last time I spoke as it relates to the 7-point crime plan, which was PAT, and that should have really been the 8th one. So we'll go with the 8-point crime plan, because that's something that can also influence crime reduction in our city. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get into some of the numbers for you all. Point number 1 of this 7-point crime, or 8-point crime plan, was our special enforcement teams. So I'm sure you've probably felt in the city a little bit more enforcement. So I want to report on the actual numbers. And honestly, this initiative started before, I think we did the last press conference, February the 10th, but we started our efforts earlier in the year, in January. So I'm going to give you the numbers starting from January up until March 9th. Overall arrest, we made 446 arrests. This isn't Birmingham PD. This is just the special enforcement initiative that has started. Made a total of 446 arrests. 283 of those are felonies. 163 are misdemeanors. We seized 80 guns. 16 of those were stolen. And 5 of those were altered firearms that have the machine gun conversion, as you've been hearing a lot about. Point number 2, swift apprehension of violent offenders. We've made a total of 32 arrests. Now, this effort is led by our crime reduction team, the CRT, who work closely with the U.S. Marshals and several of our other federal partners, FBI, Secret Service, ATF. Of those 32 arrests, 9 were for capital murder, 7 were for murder, 9 attempted murder, 3 felony assault, and 4 robbery. I want to add a note that at this time, our city is down 27% on homicides as it relates to last year. Also, hats off to our Detective Bureau, led by Deputy Chief Brown. They currently have a 75% clearance rate on homicides. And I truly believe this number will get higher. Number 3, strengthen our federal partnerships, which I'm going to be honest with you all. We've had a great relationship with our federal partners, with the U.S. Attorney's Office and all of our federal partners over the last couple of years, and we're going to continue that. To that end, we will start meeting with them again, because we did this a while back for some of the other efforts that we had, but we're going to start meeting with our federal partners and U.S. Attorney's Office next week to really continue to push that forward. Number 4, Stolen Vehicle Task Force. As stated, we have identified personnel. They'll move into assignments on next week. But even as of right now, we've recovered 16 stolen vehicles. Cracking down on illegal firearms. As of right now, we've recovered 13 stolen firearms. And 9 of these were altered, not necessarily with machine gun conversion devices, but altered in some type of way. It may have been not at the proper barrel length, things of that nature, altered in some type of way. And number 6, increase command presence. I talked about having captains and true leadership during the evening hours, our most busiest times. I'm very proud to announce that we have 2 captains, newly promoted captains. They're in the process of being trained, and they start on March 22nd. We have newly promoted Captain Timothy Bell right here, and newly promoted Captain Josh Osborne. 2 of these department's best leaders, upcoming leaders at the command level. I'm sure they will do great, but they will take positions of the utility captain, which will be during the evening hours, to address crime and to make sure that we're doing everything we can to have leadership, the best leadership during our busiest times. They will also be assisting with, and these other captains that you see up here from the precinct, having more neighborhood meetings, and then also meetings with the business owners, because one thing we want to make sure of is that Birmingham welcomes all businesses, but we've got to make sure that we can help our businesses from a law enforcement end and give them guidance on, best practices to make sure they're not becoming a nuisance, so that they can protect their business, protect their patrons, and protect our community. And number 7, our discharging team. So one thing we wanted to focus on is to apprehend folks before they actually commit a murder or before they actually strike a person with a gun. That being said, we've dedicated several personnel to investigating discharging into occupied or unoccupied dwelling or vehicle. And so far, since doing that, we've made 9 arrests, and we have had 27 warrants signed, so some of those folks still need to be picked up. But we are making strides in that area to ensure that we can get folks off the street before they take the life of someone. And last, number 8, our police athletic teams. We're going to relaunch that, and we're very happy about that. We definitely want a renewed focus on encouraging our youth to participate in safe and healthy and positive, in a safe, healthy, and positive environment. And the goal of our PAT program is going to be to foster mutual respect and appreciation between law enforcement and our youth. And we can do that through athletic training and competition with our youth. We invite our young people to get involved and develop their skills, and hopefully we can build strong relationships with our officers and our youth through this effort. This will start, PAT will kick off this Saturday, March the 15th, and it's going to be at Cooper Green Park. It's going to be baseball, so we're thrilled about that. And before I close out, I just can't thank our local, state, and federal partners enough for assisting us. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not a superstitious person. It's been over 3 weeks since we had a homicide in the city. And it's because of the efforts of the Birmingham Police Department, along with our partners. That's on the local, state, and federal level. I would also like to thank the DA's office, our state and local judges, even our magistrates who assist us. We often forget about them. But every person in a law enforcement capacity that can assist, we're very appreciative of you. I want to publicly thank the public, really and truly, for supporting our officers and trusting them as we work to make Birmingham safer. And lastly, I want to thank the men and women of the Birmingham Police Department for all the work that they do. They're risking their lives every single day when they leave the house, put this uniform on, and try to make this community safer. I'll say that over the last couple of months, they have really been in overdrive, and I hope that the community can feel that. I hope the community can feel that the city is safer now, and it's going to continue. And just remember, if you all, this is to the community, if you have any information on any crime, whether it's a homicide, a robbery, a shooting, please call it in and let us know. Call Crime Stoppers, let us know. Because I can assure you this team is going to do everything in our power to address that issue as quickly as possible. That's all I have.
You touched on earlier, it's been 23 days since the last homicide, which is not a record, but it's really a long stretch for the last few years. And you mentioned, the collaboration. Can you give more specifics about what you think is leading to that decrease?
I think when criminals see that they'll be held accountable and they won't be able to commit a crime and then just go free and hang out that night or that next weekend or whatever, I think it makes them think twice before they choose to commit a crime. So I think that's having an impact.
And the 75% clearance rate, is that for the homicides this year? Or
Yes, ma'am, that is this year. And I'm glad you asked that. That's for this year. We got four homicides that we haven't put somebody in jail on so far, but we're working on that. Last year, we still got homicides that we're working on. as well as cold cases. But we're not just focusing on those last 4 from this year, we're also reaching back. We've already picked up a couple folks that committed homicides last year. So we're gonna continue to look into those cases.
And some of these cases where you're listing out numbers, especially with the special enforcement that's gone out and made 446 arrests, right? And how many months you said from January up until March
March
9th? So that's a lot of people. What's the common trend you guys are noticing with these folks? Are they people that you likely arrested before and then they're back on your radar? And is it gonna stick this time around? Where are the trends that you're losing them in the process, then having to come back and possibly finding them committing a crime or before they actually do?
Yes, ma'am. So some people are repeat offenders, so we have identified that, and some, you know, it's our first time encountering them. So, I mean, you know, the justice system has a lot of criteria, if you will, for lack of a better term. Things have to work through the process, the legal process. So some get out on bond, some don't. You know, some don't require a lot of time for them to sit down for a long time. And that's one of the key points. That's why we want to partner with our federal partners as well, because, you know, we understand that with our legal system, our jails, our prisons, they have certain capacities, and we just have to be mindful of that. But some are repeat offenders, but one thing that we are focused on at this time is developing really strong cases so that we can get a conviction when they do go to court. Of course, we still depend on really and truly the community. When they go to court, they sit before 12 jurors. Okay, so the DA's office, we work well with them. They do an amazing job. And then lastly, we'll rely on the public. If they do go to trial, we rely on the public to ensure that all the efforts that we put forward, if convicted, then they get the justice that they deserve.
And in some of the cases where the enforcement, the special enforcement group, that how they're being aggressive. I know there's been a video on social media, I think last week, of what looks like a drug bust. Would you say that is one of the efforts, that's a part of the efforts that started since January? And, you know, is that video in particular, like, would that be included in some of the work that you guys have been doing over the last few months?
Yes, ma'am. That's normal Birmingham PD business right there. Is going after any crimes. So we're focused on violence, but we're also focused on any illegal drugs, drug trafficking, and gun trafficking. So that was just normal business. It just happened to get caught on tape that time.
What challenges have you identified in this 8-point crime plan since it's been rolled out a few months ago?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What challenges have you identified in this 8-point crime plan since it was rolled out a few months ago?
Challenges. We really haven't had many challenges. One thing I can say is I'm absolutely thrilled about the excitement and enthusiasm of our officers. I've been asking a lot of them, I'm gonna be honest with you. From the detectives to our special enforcement teams, our patrol officers. I've been asking a lot of our officers, and when I tell you they're excited to work, some of them are working overtime, some of them are researching things at home when they should be focused on family. They're very enthusiastic about fighting crime because we are seeing results. So as it relates to challenges, we haven't identified any just yet, but if we are presented with them, I'm sure we'll come up with a plan to address.
And you mentioned the results. I know you talked about how the homicide rate was down compared to this time last year. What about other crime and violent crime categories?
So yes, so overall we're trending down in pretty much every area except for aggravated assault. That's the only area, and I can give that in a report as well, but that's the only area that we're trending just slightly up is aggravated assault. But I do think that over a little bit more time, we're gonna see that come down as well.
Can we talk, I was gonna say, the two new command, can we talk about them? Where are they going to be? Have they met the community yet? Why are they in those particular areas?
Absolutely. So the two personnel that are newly promoted captains, I believe both of them have been with Birmingham their entire career. I know well what, 10 years, 15 years,
17.
17 years?
16.
16 years, so these guys, they know Birmingham, they know the Birmingham Police Department, they know the community. And both of them have worked in an investigative capacity, so they've worked all over the city. They've gone through the ranks in leadership, so they've worked all over the city. And I'm trying to remember what you asked.
Just about their roles, like where
Their
will they
roles.
be and
Yes,
have
okay,
they met
so,
the community?
very good. So, the way this is gonna work right now, eventually I would like to see utility captains at all precincts. But right now we have 2, and we're gonna start them with a primary precinct, which is gonna be either east or west precinct, and then they'll have a secondary precinct, which will be north or south. So we still have lieutenants and sergeants and other leadership, you know, at these precincts, but they will have the ability to have oversight over a primary and a secondary precinct in the event of a large-scale event going on, or a major crime or something like that. If there's any staffing issues, we want them to be able to be in that position to have more accountability for our officers during our busiest times. And I think that's gonna work out really well.
What else? Okay, thank you.